Hello, it is your girl M here, and I am with the TJ, but also TJ from Talk That Talk Buffalo. How's it going?
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Thank you for joining me. I mean, as you can see over the past, few months, he's been showing up and just being a great support. I think it's safe to say in this entrepreneur journey, motivation and encouragement between one another is like so important.
For sure. And community.
That part, yes, because it takes a village to really like build stuff up, maintain the consistency, and then kind of just like see the vision through.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
And then also to be around other people who see that vision too.
Yes.
That's a big part of it. Because this journey can feel
Yes,
kind
it's
of
a
lonely
lot.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, just surrounding yourself with like mindset and energy just to fuel you the right kind of, vibes when you're like tired or just like, I don't think I could do this,
Yeah. For sure.
Yes. Okay, so we just
I'm tired now, so don't mind me. You see the raccoon?
That's okay. I give you good lighting.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So obviously, like I was just saying, I love business. But one of the things I like doing, on my podcast is I want people to always feel seen as who they are, like personally, because obviously people's business journey or entrepreneurship, that's not where you started. And you're still a real person behind that. So what's a little bit about who TJ is?
That question is such a hard question to answer.
How so?
Because mostly I exist as a concept. And that if you just saw my day to day,
Yeah.
you'd be like, who is? Actually, I don't know. Probably every few days somebody goes, "Who the f- are you?"
I literally said that to myself too, because my outfit for my home care client, I'm literally sitting here, nails and all, baby. I'm Jane of many trades, Jack of many trades. That's who we
sure.
are. And
Yeah.
I'm literally sitting here on the toilet, power drilling his thing, and I recorded it, and I'm texting it to Cal, like, who am I? He's like, Jane of many trades. I said, well, yeah.
Right.
Literally, like, I'm like, there's literally
yeah.
nothing I can do. That table out there, I put that together when I had my nice little outfit and heels, and I'm like, so that's who TJ is. He's unstoppable. There you go.
Basically, I would say I'm an enigmatic. Enigmatic is the right word to put it. I don't put myself in a box. I am who I need to be, how I need to do, like how I need to show up at that moment. And so that could be a lot of different things.
But that's like
Just
the
like
perfect
you.
way. That's the perfect way to answer it, though, honestly, because I do think these days it's become much more common. People breaking through the ceilings, breaking through, the boxes, breaking through what society or stereotypes, say that you should be or do. And I think that's great. But there's also a fine line between not letting it become chaotic and remaining intentional. Because people like you and I, the amount of areas, of expertise that we have, it's great, but it could easily get overwhelming if it's not, organized or intentional to a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think as I transition into like the new year, the experiences with my entrepreneurship and journey and just the opportunities and people I've been blessed with, that's my form of school. That is like a form of learning for me. That's how I look at it. And because that's my area of passion, eventually, like I was saying, I want to rebrand into more a consulting aspect while maintaining like all those areas of expertise. Because like I said, like people need help with that stuff. So
I want to touch on that for a second because like how you are and who you are makes you a perfect consultant.
Thank you.
To piece the things together for people who are stuck.
Yes.
And so you're gonna do very well with that.
Thank you. And I think the hardest thing is starting, but back to like my one point of I feel like what I do see a lot of these days, because once again, it's just that intentionality. But like social media can also be a distraction. So like I see like a lot of people start stuff and then stop and then start and then it just fades. You know what I mean? And that's why like, and it's not to brag, but like consistency is very difficult. Very, very difficult. And I say, yeah, like, oh, like I make it look easy. No, no. I sit there sometimes in the bed and I'm like, can I just ever stop working? But it's like, you know, it was nice because it doesn't feel like work because I enjoy it so much. But like today, probably like the rest of the weekend, I'm like, okay, I got to turn some things off. Like, and I kind of went against my word, but I was like, well, my outfit's kind of cute today, so I want to put it on my fashion page. And I'm like, turn it off, you know? So it's yeah. So like I said, so your response is kind of fair. Like, yes, who are we? Yeah. Who am I? Who am I outside of business?
Right.
You know?
Right. I mean, literally, I mean, you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
I have like 7 to 10 recap videos that I need to do that are like 2 weeks late right now. And people are looking at me like strange, like, well, is it going to be done soon? I'm like, yeah, I got you. And it's going to look good, but give me some time, you know?
Yes.
Like, and the reason, like, and most of the reason why as an entrepreneur, I need to just make sure that I'm staying on top of things. And it really just kind of takes away from the personability of being able to connect with people is because it's a checklist. It's like really like my value, what somebody is going to be willing to pay is based on my ability to get things done.
Deliver.
Yeah. And so there is the other side of that, which is the sales part, right? The courting part of a business. There's the fun part where you're meeting people at networking events and finding out things about them. And so you got to switch it on and off, you know, like one place you're here, another place you're there. A lot of people can't make sense of it, but that's the entrepreneur life.
Right. It is.
Especially
it's like,
when you take it serious.
It's like TV static, but then at one point or another, you have to figure out how to like stream it.
Yeah.
To like be organized. And like, that's such an important point because like my brain, I don't know, maybe I'm an alien from in some life or another.
I get that vibe.
Yeah, right. Like, but because I'm like, how the heck do I like organize this? But like, but it's crazy though because there's so many things that I know now, and we're not far from the same age range. 5th grade, my one teacher, Mrs. Martin, gave me the best advice. She said, if you got a list of 10 things to do, don't look at all of them because you get overwhelmed. She said, you pick one thing, you start there and just do one thing at a time. And next thing you know, you'll get through the list. When I tell you that advice has literally stuck with me since then and has been the best advice that I could apply to almost any aspect in life. It's crazy. So like between that, I've worked a lot of patient customer service and client service. And yes, they are all different. I've had my attitude. I've had my smart mouth. I've had older people tell me what I needed to hear, even when I didn't. I've taken things personally. I've had the sassiness of thinking I can say whatever I want, however I want. I've gotten fired. So you get to this point in life where like you figure out people ain't got to take your stuff. Like, bye. It doesn't matter that you speak Spanish. We ain't gonna take them clients no more. It's like, oh damn. So you know what I mean? So it's just like, there's so many free things in life that you can get so much inspiration and knowledge from if you allow yourself.
Free game, yeah.
Yeah, if you allow yourself to like actually learn, and accept those things. And I think I pinpointed that because I had the wrong mindset. So as I developed the right mindset, that's where now community. Let me teach you let me show you how to, let me, explain this. Let me change your perspective. Because like I said, even like the point that you're at, like I've seen it and we ain't even really been close knit as much as we have until now, but you see things. And like, even with you and your journey, I've seen so much more come into perspective. And it's like, the exciting thing is like, yes, like when you're here, you're like, there ain't no way this is crazy. It's never gonna happen. But then you like, chip off at it, little by little, and you're like, oh crap,
I'm doing
like, this
it.
is actually coming together. I didn't even believe in it, and
Yeah.
I say all that to say, even in the sense of like the sales part, I've done front desk, I've done sales, I've been back end, you know what I mean? So entrepreneur, you are it. You are payroll, you are HR. I want to speak to your manager. Okay, hi, that's me. Like it's all you. So it's like you're almost forced to learn this number one balance, this tolerance, this patience.
Yeah.
And this completely insane belief in your vision that
it's gonna work out.
2 weeks of content, like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get this done. My recommendation, a little free consulting before I turn it into paid consulting. This is how my brain works. No, but seriously, like this, I like a challenge. So I think when people come to me with their messes, I'm like, I got it. That fresh eyes, you're tired, give it to me. We're gonna organize it piece by piece. And I think that's why I'm so good at working backwards, which is kind of probably what like helps me. But like even with that, 2 weeks, okay. Even if you got to put it in list form, who did you record first? Date it. Who's more priority? Because everything I had to learn too, it's not always going to be in order. I had to break that control. Like, no, I got to be this way. Sometimes it's here, there, and everywhere, but it still gets done. So like, yeah, who the videos are for, the priority of them, how long they're gonna. You have to think as far as that. The editing. If this one takes 15 minutes to edit and this one takes 45, although I recorded this one first, I'm going to do the shorter one first because that's a quicker output. Now I could check that off my list. So I think it's just a matter of developing whatever process works best for you, envisioning the finished product, what it takes to get there, and then organizing it in your head. And then, okay, now I have a workflow so that way the process runs smoothly versus, well, I started here. Oh, shoot, I got to go back. Because as good as I am, doing multiple projects at once never really works. Do a project, finish that one, move on to the next.
Yeah.
That's what works for me.
That's good insight.
But like I said, and I like giving people that information, and then you customize it to whatever your flow is. And however it works for you.
Word.
What would you consider your journey or purposes?
Probably 2019, 2020 is when I honed in on it. Mm-hmm. The simplest way to put it, have amazing conversations with interesting people. Mm-hmm. Hi.
Network. Put yourself in different rooms. Get outside your comfort zone. Absolutely. The last year or so, I pushed through because I'm like, I like people, but I don't. Mm-hmm. I'm an empath. My social battery gets drained quick. And I have started networking a lot, but oh my God, the connections and how many doors it opened. Yeah, it's that free game, like you said. I mean, put yourself in a fun room, a business room, a workshop, little bit of both. Right. I'm telling you, it's this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The club, boardroom, don't matter. You just.
I was literally sitting at that when you walk over and you say, "Hey, how are you?" I said, "I'm good." Got into a whole business conversation. And literally, fast forward, here we are.
Business. Yeah.
I think I had you. Yeah, I think I had you on social media before that. But there's social media, and then there's like having a conversation, and that's another thing I think people need to remember is like social media is great. It's a great resource. But you got to remember how to do this. Like, you have to And I said that's my fear of like the like younger. I know I'm not that old. I'm an old soul, but like the younger generations, like 30 and under. I'm just like, do they know how to sign something? Do they know how to? Hi, how are you? Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Hold the conversation.
And I deal with a few younger people that did the Gen Zers and they call it Gen Alphas. Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned. I'm legit concerned.
It's looking kind of spooky.
Yeah.
But they are whiz kids at that internet stuff. I mean,
I know.
They are good.
But and then even with that, that though, because like technology fails, you know? So I think, and that's one thing I'm grateful for is like, you know, our ages, we have the know-how of before technology. And that's a good place
in
to
the sweet
be.
spot.
Yeah,
We in
like
the sweet spot.
straight up, like when I was working front desk at a hotel and the system went down and you're doing this. Like they probably like, you know, when you hear somebody's grandkids say, "What's a landline?" I'm like, oh God, I'm that old. I said no. I was like, oh my God, like it's a real thing. So like pros and cons to everything, you know. But yeah, do you feel like what have you started and maybe fulfilled at this point, or are maybe getting towards that?
So I was meditating on quite a few things when I was young. Grew up in my childhood in the Bronx, and we were in the projects. So I mean, it was it was not a great situation. But whenever I was in bed, like I felt like I was in like my happy place, so to speak. So I was like visualizing when I was like 4 or 5, 6 years old, just on what a life could look like outside of this, or what I was going through at the time. Which I mean, I was a kid. I didn't really know, but and I mean, I was like under a roof. There was shelter there, so it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was at the time. But when I think about what I was visualizing back then when I was super young, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, and I was thinking about what I wanted, like how I'm existing now is a result of those things that I was meditating on. And what did that look like? Well, for one, I wanted to be in a physical location that I decided I wanted to be at. So in Buffalo, when I chose to stay here after school, that was my choice. I could have went back home, but I decided I wanted to stay here and do the whole soul searching thing. And then when I stayed here, I wanted to go from here to basically start traveling the world. Now, probably the reason why I'm not already in like China or like India somewhere, like in the mountains, because I do feel like that's what's coming for me, is because when I was about 22, 23, I got this really good job in digital media sales. And I was making way more money than I should have been making as a young adult. I had tried to apply for my passport, but because I had issues with my name, because when I got adopted, it was a different name, so the last name wasn't matching. My adoption records had to be like I had to get paperwork. I didn't follow through with that process and got rejected for the passport. And at that point, I thought to myself, well, maybe I'm supposed to just stay in Buffalo.
Just be.
Yeah. And so mostly what I did with my money was like help my mom out, my adopted mom, and then just do a whole bunch of traveling across the country.
But then that also will help you too. Like once again, like everything's a process, but even put it into perspective of what mountain would I want to be in? You know what I mean? Like seriously, where it's just like, that's research in itself. And like, number one, that's beautiful to be that young, visualizing, what your life was going to be, as an older adult. And I do feel like if that's what you were doing as a child, that's how you knew you were going to be built different. You know what I mean? And built different is not bad. But even with that being said, like I, a while ago, actually, I used to have, I think his name was John, and he was from Q. It was QU. That's like a thing that they were doing in Buffalo. And he put it in such like a great way of, I even had to change my mindset of looking at things like, oh my God, I wasted time or so many years, this or that. But it's like, little do you realize, like, everything is research. Everything is a learning process. It's all part of the process. It's all part of the journey. So even like your passport situation, like, maybe that was meant to happen because it wasn't your time to leave, but also take you back to be like, all right, careful what you wish for. You right?
Exactly,
What if you weren't ready and you went through all that trouble and it wasn't the time, and then you ended up back at square one.
Yeah,
so I think that's
God works in mysterious ways like that.
Yeah, and I think it's important to like listen to that and not completely ignore it constantly, because it's almost like a little guide. It's like a compass, like for life. And even for like me, like if a relationship would end, I always find myself like the fight or flight. I don't want to be here anymore. This or move. Let me get out of here. I could have been that Buffalo. Still to this day, I'm 35, never been married or divorced, no kids. No strings attached. I could live in Paris, waking up to croissants every morning if I wanted to. Like literally, but once again, like it was until like after my last, long-term relationship ended, and it was like I said, let me just be. And it was wonderful. And like fast forward, in probably like the past 2.5 to 3 years, I have never found so much comfort and peace in my home.
That is so beautiful.
It is. And I'm just like, breathe, slow down, let life catch up. And it's just like, and there's nothing wrong with having those aspirations or visions. That's what you should do. But I think society, social media, everything's instant, everything's anxiety, everything, it gotta be now, FOMO. But it doesn't.
Right.
Whereas like you're in your research right now as we speak. You know what I mean? You've already started your journey. As long as you are waking up every day, you continue to move forward, you continue to just keep doing and keep being, you're already in your journey. You've already started, you've already accomplished. Where you were living at 5 and 6, I'm sure where you are now is 10 times better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even that, like, you thought that was the worst ever, and now looking back, it's not. Mindset and perspective are superpowers. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. When I changed my bad attitude, when I was more conscious of the stuff that would come out of my mouth sideways, when you learn, when you humble yourself, when you listen, it's just,
interesting things get revealed to you.
If you start listening.
Yeah.
Never forget, I took a business class in school, and I actually learned a lot from that business class, and I was super grateful for that. And the one thing they said, Americans are obnoxious. They just blurt out what they want to say, and they don't listen. And I'm like, and I'll never forget, I had this one Australian girlfriend, Rose, like very authentically Australian. I get talking in this, and I'm looking at her. I said, "Are you good?" She said, "Yeah, I'm just listening." And before I respond, I said, "Oh." And I was like, "Yeah, I said,
this
that
is different."
Confirmed. Yeah, I was like, "Okay, Americans are obnoxious." Because you'll be talking missing. Yeah, but you don't. And it's like, they don't finish talking, but okay. So like even things like that, like it's funny, but it's like it's a very real thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I think we fail to like realize that, but that clarity comes with slowing down, taking a minute.
So, so shameless plug. I have wrote a book one time, and the book was about. It was teaching like young black men how to be gentlemen. So it was called The Art of the Black Gentleman. And
I like that.
And I was pretty young at this. I wrote it in 2021, I believe. So it like part of the book was about that exactly, which is like the conversational part of it, where when you listen, like almost everything changes. Like being comfortable with that pause or that awkward silence changes everything.
Gives you a minute to process and retain.
And that is huge. That's a small thing that really has these immense, like explosive benefits to your life. And I sense a small pivot in the culture where people are starting to wake up to that a little bit more. And it's our job to continue to speak on that type of stuff, because I'm not sure how many people are going to watch this, but like one more person who gets this could make
All the difference.
All the difference in their during dinner time with their loved one in a business meeting. It like just the 1 second of processing could literally change everything, and it has
an impact.
Yeah.
And like even with that, like that literally just sums up so much of like what I do. We were just previously discussing like sometimes we can't always explain it, but we understand the method to our madness. For me, they're going to be like, yeah, okay. Yes, I'm well spoken. Sometimes I am not the greatest at putting certain things into words. I am very visual, or if I'm emotional, I can show you better than I can tell you. So like I said, yeah, like who is M? I'm so many things. I'm still learning. When you learn to look at it as like this amazing thing, like yes, I am a beautiful mess, and I am okay with that. Because I said I wouldn't want to be perfect. I actually wouldn't change anything from my past or how things went, because to see where I am now and understand, it took all of those.
Yeah, exactly.
To get to where I am now, I'm like, I survived. And I'm like, cool. And like, I'm okay. You know what I mean? So mindset, perspective, but like also, yes, the awareness. And I'm loving to see it. So like between people like you and I, and just like, I feel like there's a shift in Buffalo, and I'm like here for it.
Yeah.
But you've seen... you've seen my journey, like you've seen everything I've like built, and when I get an idea, I'm like, I'm gonna start a new Instagram page. Here we go. But it's just like there's like the method in it is, through all my businesses, event planning, design and organization, the podcast, and my fashion page, one point or another makes sense. It does. It crosses into one another.
Yes.
Event planning. If you're going to be a host, how are you carrying yourself? You have to both be present but invisible at the same time. So how do you master that art? Design and organization. I am able to do so much of what I do because I am well put together. My car is well put together. My apartment is well put together. I am conscious and aware of my things in my personal life. So when things get crazy, busy, this and that, I might be stressed. But I'm not stressed and freaking out because I can't find something on my car floor because that's how dirty it is. Daily functionality, organization, order in your daily life, having a process. These things are very real things. My podcast. My process is I'm going to record this, I'm going to go home, I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to go back and watch it to make sure all my edits were good. But the reason I do that is because the life we live in is just go, 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 go. My brain already goes fast enough that I have to intentionally slow it down to process and retain. So when I go back, I went back and I thoroughly, I don't skip over. I've watched your episode 40. I go back and watch every single one through and through, because it also helps me watch it,
analyze,
comprehend. Okay, I was there
and
hosting,
understand.
But now I can actually watch it and be like, what was the conversation about? But even with that too, like, I watch myself, my mannerisms, my demeanor, the words that I say. And I catch myself like, wow, I have come such a long way because I've mastered slowing myself down enough to even sit there and be like, what am I trying to say before I'm just saying it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's so many things. And then, and then my podcast. And then it's like, it's inspiring for me because this is my happy place to put all the professionalism aside. It's a reminder of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then it's inspiration and motivation for you of what are you doing? It's like a check-in. Why are you doing what you're doing? And do you feel accomplished with it? And then fashion. You look good, you feel good. You're into fashion, which is even amazing.
Yeah.
How are you representing yourself to the public so people can respond accordingly to you? Like these are all very real things.
That's why this is such a dope creative collaboration, because like a lot of those similarities we can relate to each other.
Yes.
And like those things that you're analyzing, I find myself analyzing a lot of those things as well. And so when it comes to like how we turn this from literally just a conversation, right? That's all we're doing right now is having a conversation. The cameras are just on.
Right.
And we have a couple.
We had a whole conversation episode right before.
Right. Exactly.
Literally.
and what people need to pull from this type of conversation in order to start believing in themselves that they can do this, because we do need more creators and people who are willing to do stuff like this, and how we make it look good for them is very important.
It is.
Right? And so that fine line between making sure that we put it together well, that we put on a good performance, if that's what you want to call it, but also make sure that it stays authentic and that we are being mindful of what we're putting out there. I mean, that's delicate, right? It takes a certain level of intelligence in order to do that. And there are a lot of intelligent people out there that are psyching themselves out that feel like they can't do this, and we need them to.
Yeah. And even with that, those are so many, there's so many great points in that. We all start somewhere. You were actually a videographer. You work with digital. I do not do marketing. I don't. I literally be sitting here like I am self-taught. I am a visual learner.
You just be trying stuff.
I literally. So like, and once again, just because we perform, but this is not at all easy. Let's don't get it twisted.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm just gonna wake up and do it. No.
Right.
This is a build up. This is me dozing off at 10 and then like, oh, 3 a.m. Okay, where was I? You know what I mean? So like,
yeah, they don't see that part.
Right. Yes, perform, because like you said, we want you to believe that you can do it. But the delicate part and mindfulness of it is a build up. It is not going to happen overnight. It might not happen in 1 month, 6 months, or a year.
Right.
So it's also, and then the intellectual part, that just because you're up here, you started down here too. Having the mindfulness of just because you are up here, you don't have to put your nose up to the people who are learning because that was you once. But also too, at your level of intellect, how are you being delicate in the sense of, well, you don't know this? No. What do you need to learn, and how can I teach you so you can understand it? So it's all those things put together, because those things are what is what's going to help people believe in themselves of, okay, I'm only starting here, but I can get there. And then when I get there, I can get here. And then eventually maybe I'll be at your level. And that's the importance of not measuring your progress or status to anybody else, because where you are now, despite it may look like they're up here, that doesn't mean that somebody can't fall back down and have to climb back up. You know what I mean? So,
that's a fact.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
that happens a lot.
Yes, but it's also too that taught mindset and believing in yourself. Like, you can do it. And even if you fall down, I have fallen down. And I was like, I ain't doing this LLC anymore. Like, I was like, that's it, I'm done. And I don't know, I think God sent me Kale, because he's like, girl, go save this girl or something, you know. And then he re-inspired the already existing, you know, hustle and mindset and inspiration and energy and determination that was already there. But that's what I'm saying.
That is so awesome. Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, like, so, and that's, and it's not, I'm intentional with how I say it, because it's not like, well, I was doing this before. I was doing this before him, but we are human, and at times we need those things that lift us back up.
Right.
So he added to me, and that's what humanity should be.
Absolutely.
If you're here and you're here, hey, I'm going to bring you up with me.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm here now. Let me bring you up with me. You know what I mean? Like, I was driving today, and I was chatting with my girlfriend, and she was telling me how her trip in Florida was. And I could just feel in her words where it's just like, Buffalo, the city of Buffalo is an amazing place. The problem here is the people, mindset, and attitude. I don't care who doesn't like it. Buffalo is a wonderful place, but the problem here are the people, the mindset, and the attitudes. Because you've done traveling. I've done traveling frequently. And when you step out of Buffalo, there is a difference in the energy.
Vibration, yeah.
There is, you know what I mean? So it's like, and like I said, I do feel like lately there's a shift, and I'm excited about it, and I hope it continues.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's that thing of how do we keep helping people believe in themselves? And not only for a day, not only for a week, but continuously. And then how do you pass it on?
I'm going to try to make a long story short here. So back when I was doing the digital media sales, I would go out I would sell to dentists, I would sell to lawyers, I would sell to roofers, and most of them were white men and or the receptionists of those white men, millionaires typically, or very successful businesses doing six figures. And the product that I was selling was the digital media services were websites. It was Google at the time was huge, Google SEO, social media like management packages, and like these, and then like also AdWords is what they called it. So like Google Ads, social media ads, like managing the advertisement part of it. And at the time, most of the businesses, when I would go into, when I would show them like what we were trying to offer, a lot of the businesses were like, well, I don't need this because most of my business is word of mouth.
Oh, okay.
And my rebuttal typically was, well, what about 10 years from now when everything is online?
Or those clients are eventually going to pass away,
right.
And then the word of mouth diminishes, and exactly.
So now here I am 10 years later and everything is online. Everything is online. And the word of mouth thing is still relevant.
Absolutely.
But online word of mouth is very important. Like it's probably like 50-50 with like people are looking at those Google reviews. They want to see those 5 stars. They want to see what people are saying.
But people need a starting point because you're not just waking up one day like, that's the company I'll go to. Like you have to hop on Google. You have to find a search engine,
people are doing their research. Right.
Yeah.
So businesses need to be findable, right? And for what we're going through right now, which like for people like us, we're creators, right? We have our own personal brand and we're also managing business brands, which are two very distinct things. A personal
brand
and
consuming.
But there's a lot of overlap, right? And the synergy between all of them is, well, you got to still keep creating. You got to like make yourself available so that people can find you. The world on the internet is being built as if it was the Americas without, colonization. Like it's a open field.
Yes.
It's a lot of forest. There needs to be some things worked out, of course, but people are building right now.
Absolutely.
And some people have built very successfully already. But now we're at a point where everybody needs to build on this space. The internet is not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's elevating, if anything.
Right, and the need for it, and the young kids are going to eventually be the young adults, and they're going to have some money, and they're going to look for things primarily online. They're not going to know about anything, like because they're going less places. They're much less social than us. They don't know how to have conversations. The phone and the laptop is telling them what to do and where to go.
Right. Yeah.
So you got to be on it.
and like I said, to your point, regardless if you like it or not, like you said, you could raise your kid whatever way, but eventually you're not always going to be there to raise them. And this is their era. This is their generation, just like paper was, our generation, or flip phones or beepers, whatever the case is. So, to a point, you have no choice but to evolve. There's nothing that's going to change. But it's also a thing of, for the security of your next generations to come, preparing them like, hey, this is how it was. This is how it's going to be, but, teach me and I'll teach you my ways. So it's still a give and take of eventually it's going to fully transition to that. You don't want to prevent them from learning what their generations are going to be. Now you're delaying their progress.
Correct.
So it's all about evolving. It's all about collaborating, having that understanding where you kind of got to, you
got to work it. You got to be comfortable with the duality of it. You got to be comfortable with the uncomfortability of
it. And I think our parents in the older school generations, they are very stubborn to that. And I do feel like our generations are starting to change that, because you have to. It's you know what I mean? Like, the world isn't going to be like, oh, well, they don't like it, we can't do this anymore. Right. No, like, life goes on. People are still going to do what they're going to do, but in moderation, whatever works for you. Yeah. Yeah. But
and the best ones are going to be able to utilize both well. So
exactly.
So the ones who can market online can get you into a room where you can feel safe, and you can feel like you are a part of a community with people who are in the same room as you, sharing the same energy.
Yeah.
And y'all could go gardening. Y'all could play freaking basketball or something, like do something in person, but it might be something that you see online that brings you there, and you got to have the skill
to want to try it. Right.
There.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean, pretty much, like I said, just to sum up, the conversation, in everything is balance. Literally, if you can master balance in every area of life, you have won the game of chess that life is.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I think it's not impossible, but I do believe, like, it can be taught. It has to be taught. Like, I chose to learn a lot through my journey, because I wasn't taught a lot of it. So then I just took the initiative to kind of like self-teach, which is great, but not everybody might have that boldness or, confidence. So I think, once again, the mindfulness, having that delicate intellect of, well, yeah, this is me now, but what about the person who's still like only halfway through that progress, or isn't bold enough to put themselves, in a room full of business people without getting intimidated, so it's like, how do we teach and build that confidence? How do we, improve our cultures, improve the mindsets, enhance the perspectives to be more positive than negative, even though negative is going to exist. But how do we figure out not letting the negative win or outweigh the positive so much that now we're not believing in ourselves anymore? Right. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely excited about 2026.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. I think it's part of your pamphlet, but you had asked me what I find like fulfilling. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm curious, with you doing this whole thing, like what is it that you are looking to fulfill in your life now as you're creating? I'm curious. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, my gosh, so much has gotten put into perspective, and I have so much more clarity because I learned to focus. And I think the most rewarding thing right now, like at this day and time, is I've actually like accomplished some things. Like, I have actually accomplished some things that I'm like, is that crazy? Is that ever like really going to work? Like, I've accomplished more things than I would have thought. But the biggest thing in the process of it is helping people. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about everything I do, hyping people up, advertising, not being so focused on, well, it costs this, and that, because there's such a bigger picture. And what I find is the more things I do authentically, and out of the genuine kindness of my heart, it's brought so many blessings. It's aligned me with so many new connections and people that it's just starting to add puzzle pieces. So the bigger picture, I don't even fully have a clue of what it'll look like, but I just know pieces are getting like added. And even as we sit in this second office that it's going to be expanded into, like, that's a major thing. Yeah. So like, wow, I have this honor of helping somebody build a vision, like straight up create an office processes. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm 5 classes away from an associate's degree. I do not have a degree. Right now, my experience outweighs a piece of paper because of what I do. Not to say some crafts require a degree and school, absolutely. But yes, I think, like, for me, that's one of the most rewarding things, where it's like, wow, I self-taught a lot. I put myself out there. I pushed past through the uncomfortable things. I put myself in the rooms that, are challenging or could be intimidating. And I went with the flow. I told myself, like, I could do this. I surrounded myself with like-minded people, and then once you outgrow things, being okay with elevating to the next thing. And if people come with you or things come, they do. And if not, that's okay. So I definitely think I'm most fulfilled in my journey of, like, as I do things, as I teach myself and learn, helping others. So then they can kind of, I like bringing people with me. Not everybody can come, and I had to accept that. That's a hard lesson in itself. But just helping people and being a blessing along the journey and passing on what was passed on to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you're existing in that manifestation of visions past thought, and I love that for you.
Thank you. Yeah. And like I said, same for you. You're doing Appreciate your thing. That. I still get to them 2 weeks of content.
I'm on it. As soon as I get out of here, I'm getting on that.
No, but I think it's major. I think 2026 is going to be a great year. We're not even, a couple weeks in, and I think it started off the right way. Yeah. I think it started off strong. I feel like collabs throughout the year are definitely gonna happen between us, and even whoever's watching, any collabs that you might desire, whether it's just with him and I, or just I, it just
pull up. Hit us in the DM or something. Yeah.
Network. Get yourself out there.
Yeah. Don't overthink it.
That part, because I say, one thing I'm tired of. I said people be complaining about stuff, and oh my God, so sad, and letting the emotion. What'd you do to change it? Go back to square one, and then come back to me when you've done. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so we gotta do better and be better. You gotta get up and do things. Yeah. If you really want something to change or a different outcome, you have to change the approach. And the resources are here. I ain't charging you to watch these episodes just yet. It's free information, but you know what I mean? Like, it's free information. Free so game. We gotta get better with that. But
So just to touch on that part, and I think this is the end on my end. You should come over to the house. We have a lot of, so it's a co-op house, and you probably really enjoy the vibe there. We're about to start streaming out of there, so you'll come in on one of our live streams. Okay. The next couple weeks we're gonna be doing it, and I'm gonna spark up Talk That Talk again.
Let me know.
Now, so like as you can tell, like, even though my show is called Talk That Talk, I don't do that much talking. I'd rather somebody else do the talking.
I feel like I was doing so much talking. I'm like, wait a minute, this is my show. And you're like, no, it's cool. I'm like, okay, sorry. Yeah. I get excited.
Yeah, as you should too. You have a lot of great things to say.
Thank you.
But like when we do those things at the house, that's going to be people's opportunity to just like come through and talk that talk. Yeah. Like, there's a lot that people need to say. Yeah. They're too cooped up in the room, in the house, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, on the phone. Like, and they're not saying the things, and it's hurting them. It's hurting you.
Mental health is mental health is a very real thing.
Yeah, and that's why mental health is a booming business right now, as you can tell, as you know. And one of those things that can really help with that is being willing to get yourself out there and share a little bit of yourself, to know that you're not alone in this whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there's so many people walking around jacked up. Yeah. Get your mental health checked in 2026. Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, all of that. For sure. But even, and like I said, just to sum that up, like, this is your girl M on Just Ask M. We got your boy, your man, TJ, Talk That Talk. But Just Ask Em is the topics, that we don't speak on enough. And like you said, push yourself, to kind of have those conversations to help yourself know that you're not alone. But in the midst of talking, having conversations, you actually learn so much. And that's not, like, a lot of these videos and stuff, I go back and watch previously recorded things. And when I watch them, it actually, like, sometimes lines up with, like, what I'm going through or feeling that day. So it's like, I'm talking to myself at times. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what are you telling yourself? What are the topics that you're not speaking on enough? But speak up, open up. We gotta normalize talking about these things, and there's nothing wrong with that. So thank you for joining me yet again, TJ.
Appreciate you.
We're gonna continue building.
Oh, for sure. We're gonna keep doing this.
Yes, definitely. You heard it here on Just Ask Em. So make sure you continue to support, tune in, and subscribe.